Hello, everyone. It's Charlton, and I'm going to talk some more about the Botham Jean shooting. It's almost exactly a week ago that he was shot and killed in his own apartment. Okay, so I'm going to try to focus on a few things: the door and some of the witness accounts of what happened. Because initially she says the officer who claims she mistook his apartment for hers. I tend to believe that, even though I think some of the particulars might be not completely accurate, and that she's maybe got some legal advice onto in terms of the statement she made and the story she's telling. But I'm not even sure of that. It may be that it's as close to the truth as she can remember. It's possible, based on the door and some of the video that people have provided of the doors at the South Side Flats, and just my knowledge of those places. The apartment complexes and the kinds of doors they have. My parents have some condos in an apartment complex, very similar. Heavy doors that self-close just like that, and that as soon as you let go of the handle, the door closes, slams closed, and normally locks. Although, as I explained in my previous video, like from one building to the next, the builder learned that many residents were locking themselves out of their apartment, so they changed the locks in building 2 versus building 1 of the place I'm talking about, not the Southside Flats. I'm just saying I know a little bit about these doors. And actually, in building 1, the one where you can lock yourself out of the door very easily, they're all self-closing. But there's this little thing on the inside of the door where the latch is, and you can actually just like push it. It's like a button or almost like a seesaw thing, and that way it won't lock. So basically, you can go down to the trash, throw your trash out, go get your mail, and if you have that thing pushed, it won't lock you out, and you can get back in even without a key. There's got to be some kind of mechanism on these doors so that you can get in and out of them without a key, in my opinion. They were built in 2015. This is a brand new facility, extremely modern facility. They got electronic keys, which is another issue that I'll bring up in a second. But there's got to be some mechanism that allows you to get in and out of the door without the key. And I think it's just basically not locking it. I think that's what it is, because I've looked at the video and there's no button on the side of the door that you could push in to basically prevent it from locking you out. So I think it's just if you leave it unlocked, and that's kind of what I think it was. Even though she thought it was ajar, whatever, I don't know. She forgot turning the handle. I'm not sure why she's saying it was ajar, but I can see by how heavy the door is, it's almost impossible that it would have been ajar. And I'm starting to see why. I don't know why it makes such a big difference. I don't exactly. I do and I don't. I don't even know. I don't know what other people are claiming. What is it that other people think happened if she didn't mistake the apartment for her own? What is the alternative view? I really don't know what other people are thinking. They just don't believe her story. So I think the big issue of whether or not he opened the door for her, whether she knocked, is, I think the stories is that if she knocked and he opened the door, then she saw a black man and she freaked and she thought he was a burglar because he's black and shot him. That's what I think. That's what the kind of gist I'm getting from some of this. And I'm telling you, I have no bone in this fight whatsoever. And I'm just being brutally honest. It makes no difference to me whether she goes to jail and spends the rest of her life in jail. Okay, it's not going to affect me one bit. I wouldn't want that to happen to her if it didn't. If she doesn't deserve it, and she probably doesn't. She deserves some kind of punishment. I don't know. I'm not the law. I'm just saying that it's not going to affect me one way or the other. I just kind of want to know what happened. All right, so. These pictures have been out there for a while. I'm just going to throw these away right now. This is not racist stuff. He's not doing the white power symbol thing there, even though it is kind of humorous in this situation because he's got two of them going. And but he's saying it's 69. It was his father-in-law's 69th birthday. It's the brother-in-law. The brother-in-law is actually Mexican. And so he's not doing the white power thing there, even though, and they had the other picture. These have been out there from the very beginning. All Lives Matter. I think that's their mother So between the two, people were saying that there might be a racist connection to the family, whatever. So just a little housekeeping. Those pictures have been out there from the very beginning, and like I said, it is a little bit on the humorous side based on just the fact that right away that pops up. It's not in the least bit humorous, when somebody's been killed. Just saying, you know what I mean. All right, so there's a variety of things in this daily. I'm going to focus just on this Daily Mail piece. There's an insider edition, some exclusive video from inside his apartment, Botham Jean. And it's clearly a bachelor's apartment. He's 26 years old. It's in the prime of his life, single, and, just starting his life, just graduated from college. And but it's a bachelor's apartment. It's messy, clothes piled up on the couch, flip-flops here, bowl of cereal, So I think one of the suggestions is that she should have recognized that it wasn't her apartment. That's clearly a bachelor's apartment and not hers. But, her version is the lights were off and she didn't see it. So, but in this Inside Edition, report where they talk about his apartment and stuff like that, and they intro it, they kind of say that this exclusive video, the attorneys for the family of Botham Jean say this supports their view. And that's, I don't really know what their view is. Not that they have to have a view. They don't have to do anything they want. I'm just saying I don't know what the alternative view is to her making a bad, horrible, awful mistake and pulling her weapon too quickly and shooting too soon. Okay, that part I'm pretty much, I'm in agreement with for the most part. But I don't know. It seems as though, to me, the more I think about it, that some of these particulars were kind of wanting to get to the conclusion where she fired because it was a black man. That's basically, I think, where we're going, to put it bluntly. So, because initially it was open up. All right. That's what the first reports were, and like the day after, even the night of, some neighbors had reported hearing police talk and open up. That was two women who live on the second floor, near where the shooting happened, said they heard a lot of noise late Thursday. It was like police talk, open up, 20-year-old Caitlin Simpson told the Daily Morning News. And that says the second floor. But over here at a different article, with the same person, it was the fourth floor, I believe. So there were two witnesses, Caitlin Simpson and Yasmin Hernandez, that heard a lot of noise on the fourth floor that night, including police talk like open up. So open up. Open up sounds a lot like hands up. All right. And, I think it could have been hands up. But days later, there was either, I don't know if it was these same witnesses, because these two witnesses who I think were in the same place sound very similar to the witnesses that Merritt, I think it's Lee Merritt, the attorney for the family of Botham Jean. I'm not sure if it's the same people or not. It sounds like it to me, but I don't know, because they were saying they heard knocking and let me in. And they also heard a man say, what we believe to be were the last words of Botham Jean, which was, "Oh my God, why did you do that?" So, if somebody could show me that there was some kind of relationship between these two, even some kind of just neighborly relationship where they were starting to get, there was some kind of conflict brewing between them. I don't know how that would happen in such a quick time. She's only lived there for a month, even though there is supposedly a report of her complaining about noise, or somebody beneath Botham Jean reporting of complaining about noise, even the day of the incident. But also, I don't know. Let me get to the door. So there's that. There's according to the attorneys of the family of Botham Jean, they have some witnesses that are saying they heard somebody knocking and a voice saying, "Let me in." Even though, like I said, the night of or the next day, the reports were that it was open up. Over at the Daily Mail, before I get to the door, here, the locks on the door. I already pretty much kind of said what I think about the locks of the door. Here's somebody that's not, I mean, this is how these things are starting to develop. I mean, we're getting like secondhand and third-hand accounts. You know, she's talking about what somebody else said. Another neighbor, a Costa Rican woman who also asked not to be named, said, people say they heard her knocking, and that doesn't make sense. I guess he must have opened the door, and she saw a black man inside what she thought was her apartment, and so she went ahead and shot him. All right, well. So about the noise complaints, I'm going to leave that alone. I've talked about that enough. And the door, too. I don't think I need to go into... I know what I wanted to say about the door. Screwing up this video again. I don't feel like we're doing it. Tried like 10 times. Here is a video of the door. And I have an opinion on this. I really do. And she's a cop. Okay? Let me play the video. I'm not even going to turn. I'm not going to unplug. Okay, so that doesn't work. And you get the red light. Now it works. She unlocks it. Okay. So that won't stay open for me. But in that, when you're looking at the side of the door, at my parents' condos, the one I was telling you about, there's a little place where you can push it in so that it doesn't lock on you. If you leave the apartment without the keys, I like to go throw your trash out or go get your mail. In that apartment, I think you just don't lock it. You don't turn the deadbolt, you know. There's got to be a way for you to leave that apartment without your key to get back in. There's just got to. You can't tell me that in a modern facility like that there isn't some method of leaving that room without your key and getting back in. And I think it's just not locking it. And that's what I think it is. I think the door was unlocked even though the family says he was a very, very stickler for things like, you know, he didn't like the feeling of being unsafe, didn't like having the lights off, and would have never left his door unlocked. My guess is it was unlocked. But either way, that is an electronic lock. And I'm almost positive there's going to be a record of that. And the cop would know that, you know. So even if she's creating a false story, a cop would know that that's going to get found out down the road when they analyze that lock, either that lock in particular or the whole systems. If it's all based on fobs and everything else, there's going to be a record of whether that door was locked, unlocked, ajar, whatever. It's going to be it's digital on there somewhere, you know. So, and I think a police officer would know that, so she wouldn't embellish her story. And, you know, that's kind of it for that, in my opinion. You know, so I honestly think that it was probably unlocked, wasn't ajar, because they are heavy. I didn't even show you in this thing. They slammed. I'm sorry. You know, it probably was not ajar. Come on, man. Jeez. Yeah, but she's showing you right there. Slams or closes. It doesn't slam that much. Probably, you know, if somebody just was lightly closing it, it could be ajar. It's possible. It is. I mean, it doesn't slam. The doors at my parents' place, they're heavy steel doors. They slam. I mean, they make you hear them all throughout the building whenever they slam every time. But it's all recorded in there one way or another, whether it was ajar, unlocked. It's in the digital footprint of that lock and probably fairly accessible, you know, to the system. You know, the whole system is probably integrated. It's a fob. That's so. All right, about the noise complaints, there's some new information there, but it's a little bit muddled, in my opinion. It doesn't seem... I'm not sure how accurate it is, even though it seems like the Daily Mail specifically spoke to some people. DailyMail.com can also reveal that Guyger had made noise complaints about Botham Jean, to building management in the days before his death. Her neighbor, a Hispanic man in his mid-20s, said she had been cross about him making noise early in the mornings. I don't know how he would know that if it was to the building, but let me just continue. He said she filed a noise complaint early on in the day, which said that he had been making noise before she leaves for her shift. The family lawyer, Merritt, confirmed his account in an interview with CNN, telling the channel, "The only connection we have been able to make is that she was his immediate downstairs neighbor. And there were noise complaints from the immediate downstairs neighbors about whoever was upstairs, and that would have been Botham." Still unclear to me, because it's from the immediate downstairs neighbors about whoever was upstairs. So if it's neighbors, it could have been multiple people. I'm not trying to be a stickler or try to, prove or disprove anything. It's just not clear to me. In fact, there were noise complaints that very day about upstairs activity in Botham's apartment. Botham received a phone call about noise coming from his apartment from the downstairs neighbor. That very day, she did a 15-hour shift, supposedly, got there at 10. That means she left at 5 in the morning, 10 minus 5 is 5 in the evening, and then 12 hours is 5 in the morning. So I don't know when she would have filed a complaint, but anyways, according to Guyger's neighbor, the building's walls are soundproofed while the ceilings are not. A potential cause for conflict, and it goes on. And that's pretty much it. All right, man. Kind of went round and round here, but it's just going to have to do. And that's the end of this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.